Hey friends, I thought it'd be fun if you guys hung out with me for a day in the life with a newborn. Now, it has been a few years since I have embarked on this newborn phase, and let me tell you, there are a lot of things you forget. So one, I'm giving myself a lot of grace in this season, realizing that productivity is not the focus, but spending all the time with this little baby that I can while trying to get a few things done in the day. So when I am trying to get those things done, whether that be simple tasks like making me breakfast, making the kids lunch, or maybe I do have some deadlines or something like that, I have found baby wearing is the key to success. I have actually worn all of my babies, and it was the best way for me to get things done. Because I don't like to stick my babies in a crib all the time. They usually do a lot better, especially at this age, being close to mama. So you can see here, this has calmed him right down. This is the Wild Bird ring sling. I really like it for this newborn phase. So once I got Ziggy nice and quiet, quick little kisses from sister, I am now going to make a protein shake. We're actually past breakfast here, and I'm getting ready to prep the kids lunch and me lunch, but since I know that's going to take a minute, I like to go ahead and make a quick protein shake just to kind of tide me over. I'm working really hard to make sure I am getting in an adequate amount of protein, making sure I'm staying nice and hydrated, especially if Nathan has errands to run or things on the farm to do. It's easier for me to make a protein shake than try to make a full-fledged meal packed full of a lot of protein. So this is super easy. I've got frozen bananas, some ice. I added in some hemp hearts, some ground flaxseed. I am adding in some collagen peptides right here from Just Ingredients. And then I'm also going to add their protein powder, which I absolutely love. This is the roasted peanut butter chocolate, which tastes delicious. I'm doing a little more than a scoop, again, just trying to get some more protein in, especially since I'm not sure when I'm going to be eating lunch, just in between making the kids lunch, feeding a baby, things like that. And then what I'm going to do is just top it off with some whole milk. You could use coconut milk, almond milk. We just kind of use whatever we have on hand. And I just blend it up in my Ninja. It's super easy, super fast, start to finish. This whole thing maybe took me 5 minutes to make, so I really like doing this for a quick, easy option to get in some good protein and some calories really fast. So good. So I try to get in a protein shake, some quick carbs, quick protein. So there's carbs in the banana in there. There is in 1 scoop of the protein powder, 24 grams. This is a Just Ingredient brand, which I love because it is so clean. So you notice I did a little over a scoop. It's just because I'm trying to have a high protein diet right now. Limited sugar, unless it's in fruits. I'm not really worried about carbs. Just want to make sure I'm getting a good protein intake, staying nice and hydrated, trying to fuel this little guy. So this is just the pregame. I am drinking this while I am making the kids lunch and gonna prep my lunch. Then we're gonna get started on sourdough. So Nathan had to leave, but he popped some chicken wings in the oven for the kids before he left and set a timer. I'm gonna throw some sweet potatoes in the microwave, get them started with some fruit. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of prep their plates. Prep my plate, then we'll move on to sourdough. We can all eat, then we'll come back and start doing that. So lots of juggling right now, and that's okay. I know it might look like I'm doing a lot, but I'm really just kind of filming the things that I am doing in a day. So right now there's still just a lot of feeding, a lot of rocking, and that's okay. I have small little spurts where I'm able to do stuff. We're gonna go pick up our Azure standard today. That'll be another video I share with you guys, some of our staples that we order every couple months religiously. But yeah, hope you guys are enjoying this day in the life with our little newborn. Man, how life has changed. So while I'm waiting on the girls' chicken to get done and Ziggy's super content, I'm going to go ahead and prep the rest of their lunch. That's usually what I try to do while most of my day is spent feeding, changing a diaper, or in a recliner. When I do have him content in a sling, I try to be as most efficient with my time as I can because I know he could wake up at any point. So I've just got some grapes here, some oranges, really simple. We're not being super fancy for lunches. We're just trying to find some good fruit, some good protein for the girls. In the meantime though, I'm going to go ahead and prep my lunch. So I'm going to grab a sweet potato and just pop it in the microwave. So again, hopefully I can eat lunch with the girls if I'm not having to feed. So now that the timer has went off, I'm going to just grab their chicken wings and little drumsticks out of the oven and start prepping their meal so that I can finish my meal. This is again a lot of what lunches look like. Most of the time Nathan's home and he is the one doing most of the lunches and prepping my meals. But as school's starting to start back and we've got kids and different sporting events, I am having to figure out how to get moving and get some things done while he is not here. So I got the kids' lunch ready. I am just going to go through and start making my lunch now. I usually give them a head start because it takes them a little bit longer to eat than it does mom. So while they're sitting down eating, I'm prepping my sweet potato. I eat a sweet potato almost every day. Nothing fancy. I take the skin off, add a generous daub of butter, mix it in. Then I'm just going to go through and season with pepper and some salt. Usually this is what I'll do, and I'll add some sort of protein in it, maybe some spinach, some ferment, some salsa. Today I'm keeping it super simple because I'm here by myself. So it's literally sweet potatoes and chicken, and the girls are sitting here. So this is a nice chance for us to just kind of come together at lunchtime. Breakfast is kind of crazy. The kids are waking up at different times, so this is just a nice time for us to hang out. Now I'm just loving on this baby. You guys, he is growing so much. Although I am a little sleep deprived, I am just so thankful that he is such a great baby. And look at this sweet little smile. I cannot even. So now that he is still rocking and rolling in this carrier and lunch is wrapped up, we are going to start the next phase of sourdough because I know after this I'm going to be feeding, we're going to be changing diapers. I know that I'm not going to be available, so all I'm doing is just popping this into my oiled bread loaf pans. This is actually my focaccia recipe that I've just baking in a different vessel and found that it does so good. So if you want my focaccia recipe, you can check it out in the description below. Grab my free daily ebook, but super simple ingredients, super simple to make, especially in this season of life. So now I have a damp tea towel. I'm just going to throw it over there for a second proof. Let it sit for about an hour. Now that I have a full belly, it's time to caffeinate. So I'm only drinking 1 cup of coffee a day. Ideally, I'm drinking it after I have had a good 40 to 60 ounces of water and after I've eaten a nice meal. This is just going to help me avoid adrenal fatigue and crash later. So this is the only cup of coffee I am having. I'm doing a single shot, which adds up to about 70 to 80 milligrams of caffeine. That's personally all I feel comfortable with right now, and I've found that if I'm eating quality food, I'm actually not needing that. I do start to crash a little bit in the afternoon, but this is just a nice little pick-me-up mid-morning, in today's case, right after lunch. So again, I did a single shot of espresso, filled the rest up with water, a tablespoon of honey, and then I'm just going to top with milk. You guys, I literally go to bed looking forward to this cup of coffee the next day. It's just one of those quiet moments, sometimes not quiet. Most of the time I'm sipping coffee in one hand and nursing in the other. But it is one of those things that kind of feels like a luxury to me right now in this season. And it's one of the things that is routine that I was doing pre-baby. So that just feels really nice. He's still asleep right now. I do have some projects that I am working on. So I was trying to get a little bit of work done while he was napping. When he's awake, I don't actually prefer to be doing work. I like to give him all of my attention. So I sneak in these few moments when I can actually get them.
Oh, say hi, Ziggy. So while Ziggy is napping, I'm trying to get some tasks done.
We've got a big fall launch coming in October. We're going to be launching sourdough merch. So we'll have hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats. Like, really excited about that. I'm also going to be launching a sourdough cookbook, and we are going to be relaunching and revamping our sourdough course. So while I am recliner locked most of the days, it's easy when he's napping just to be able to go in here and start working through some of that. So you guys stay tuned. We will definitely keep our email subscribers up to date. We'll let you guys know, get some good feedback. But I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a great resource for you guys. So if you are someone who is interested in sourdough, the course specifically is going to be for beginners. So unlike our current course, we're going to be discontinuing that. If you are already a student, you will always have access to it. But this is going to be more troubleshooting. We're talking about cold proofing versus proofing on the counter, baking at different elevations. Like, we're going to be targeting more for a beginner on troubleshooting, really what you need to know, instead of so many hands-on recipes, which was a lot of what our original course was. So if this is something that interests you, I would love it if you would put down in the comments what you would like to see. If it is those hands-on recipes, what recipes do you want to see? What things do you struggle with as a beginner in sourdough? That way I can make sure I put this on the shot list. These are things that we are addressing. Also, for the sourdough cookbook, this is going to be a ebook, but we're going to have a printing option where you can actually get it printed. Fingers crossed. We're working really hard to find a good printing company, so we're going to have both options. But what recipes would you like to see in that? I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great launch. I think you guys are going to absolutely love some of the things we are working on behind the scenes right now, in between baby snuggles, feeding, changing diapers. Just a little bit of work here and there, but I'd love your feedback, so drop them in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. Now that Ziggy is up for his nap, I fed him, we are burping him, and I also like to do a little bit of tummy time. So we just got done with about 20 minutes of tummy time, and now the girls are ready to hang out with their brother. So Nathan is actually home at this point, and usually what he'll do in the afternoon, especially in this case where I have some things to do like sourdough, he'll just watch the girls and make sure that they're doing okay with Ziggy. So I'm going to get them situated, and now our bread is done proofing. We're going to get ready to season it and bake it. So I am just going to be using some everything bagel seasoning. This just tastes so good, you guys. You're going to go through and dimple your dough just like you would focaccia. Check out those air bubbles. Seriously, this is the easiest, best recipe I've ever made. And I don't know why it took me 3 years before I decided to bake this in a loaf pan and use it as a sandwich loaf, but I am so glad that I did. So I have my oven preheated to 425 degrees. I'm again just sprinkling the seasoning. You can use whatever type of seasoning you would prefer. For us, we either make it plain and we'll just top it with butter when it comes out, or we'll do the everything bagel, and it's just nice for a sandwich loaf to make avocado toast. You guys, check this out. If I haven't convinced you to start sourdough, do it now. Look at all those air bubbles. But it's going to go into the oven for 30 minutes. You could do a little more, a little less, depending on your range. I found that 30 minutes works great. Nathan still got the girls and Ziggy, so I'm just watering my seedlings real quick that I started earlier in the week, I guess. And look, they're already starting to sprout. This is like 5 days after I have planted them. So I'm really, really encouraged by that. These look great. It's all of my brassicas. I just cannot believe they came up this fast. So feeling very, very encouraged by that, and hoping we have a great fall garden.
I think he have a diaper change.
Oh, is that
You think he needs a diaper change?
Yeah.
No. So Nate and the girls took Ziggy outside for a little stroll. so that I could work on sourdough. You guys just saw me watering my plants. I actually started these inside and they were under the lights, but what I was noticing is because we didn't have any fans on them and there was no airflow, they were starting to get mold on the top, which is pretty common. So what I did is our front porch gets great sun, and so I've actually just moved them out here because it's so easy just to bring them in the kitchen and water them. And I think that's why they're sprouting so well. I also really do prefer, if I can start things outside, to start them outside. I find that I have healthier, stronger transplants. So I'm just gonna be mindful of the weather. If it looks like it's gonna rain or anything like that, I'll bring them inside. But until then, because I don't have very many, I've just got these 4 trays. It's working really well. So we've got our emerald broccoli starting to sprout. I saw some cucumbers sprouting, so that's exciting. That's really, really good news. But my timer is about to go off. We're gonna do sourdough. Might have to stop and feed a baby. Love on him for a minute. All right, while I am feeding baby Ziggy, Nathan is taking out the bread for me. You do want it to fully cool before you cut it, but I like to add the butter to it once it's still warm. So this is kind of cooled off more than it usually would, and that's because I was just nursing. But go ahead and just top it with butter when you get it out of the oven. You guys, it is going to add another layer of flavor that is unreal. But check this out. I will say too, when you let it fully cool, it's going to pop out of your baking vessel a lot easier. And if you're noticing you're still having your bread stick, whether you're making it into a sandwich loaf or maybe you are baking it in a cast iron, just add more oil. I usually use around 50 grams of oil in my vessels. And when you do that, you see how it pops out. I did take a butter knife and go around the edges, but you can see that nice golden top from the butter. Look at that nice golden bottom from the oil. Again, if you like your sourdough more charred, leave it a little longer. We like ours to be super moist. We don't want it to be super burnt, kind of like a lot of traditional sourdough. So we just find that 25-30 minutes works great. You can see how moist the inside is. Look at this squish test. It bounces back perfect. You guys, this is so good. I cannot wait to get into it. So we're just using our bread bow to cut it. I'm going to add some butter and some salt. We also have our bread bows back in stock along with our butter knives, all of our sourdough utensils. So if you're interested in that, just check out the description below. But I'm going to enjoy this nice little afternoon snack. All right. June and I are about to head to get our Azure order. All right, we just arrived at the church to pick up our Azure standard order. They drop off at a local church. I've got June with me. Ziggy and I just woke up from a nap. Say hello. Hi. Usually in the afternoons is when I start to crash. So whenever he takes his afternoon nap, I try to nap with him for at least 45 minutes to an hour. I find that I do a lot better in the middle of the night with those feedings when I've had a little bit of a sleep. But it's actually the first time I have drove since having a baby. And Nathan is getting Charlie from gymnastics, so we're having to tag team. But this is just our day in the life. I will be doing an Azure haul video of our Azure staples that we've been buying for years now. Just kind of the non-negotiable things we usually always get from them. But thank you guys for hanging out with me in this day in a life with a newborn. It looks like a lot of rest, a lot of nursing, and little increments of being able to get stuff done. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Say we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.